Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm gonna do some streaming today. Before I start, I just want to say that I got a painting that is on auction. I did this painting last week, and it's based off of a mask that I bought from an antique store. And I just liked the way it looked, and I decided to paint it. And there it is, 10 by 10 by 1.5 on panel. I'm going to be doing a 4x4 version of this painting, which is friggin' pretty big. And I already started it, actually. It's in the other room, but I can't go over there right now. So. And I'm wearing a hat today because my skylight is, there's like sun is like piercing my face, and just waiting for the sun to move. And it's also a heat wave in Montreal, so I don't know what to do with myself, so I'm just going to sit here and animate with you guys. Working on the next episode of Safe Mode. My mug's all fucked up. Okay. Yeah, so here it is. The painting's on sale. I've been selling paintings for 15 years. For those who don't know, I put all my paintings on justintomchuk.com, where you can see all of my paintings, including the most recent one, which I just sold last week, which is kind of a simple geometric one. There's the more elaborate one I did a few months ago, and Carolina. Right? I got a lot of paintings on here. I don't have that many, really, you know. I don't paint that often, maybe a couple times a year or so. That's it. So I'm going to start. I'm not going to play my own music today, so I don't know if the stream's going to get demonetized or fucking muted. You know what? Maybe I should just play my own music, because the thing is, I want to listen to someone else's music, but like, every time I do that, the live stream gets muted, so. You know, that people, I went to Chinatown to get some tea, just help me sleep, and this Chinese guy came out wearing a suit, and he pointed to this big jar of tea. I tried it, and he gave me monk fruit and all this sort of thing. Didn't really work. I mean, it made me tired and like sleepy and stuff, but I was just still lying there with my eyes open. Today, I did go to sleep though, somehow, and I don't seem to figure out what the pattern is with this not being able to sleep, because I drank a big glass of lemonade before I went to sleep, and I thought all that sugar would keep me up, but it didn't, so. Cam's frame rate is weird. Well, I'm not fixing it, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just a little jerky or something. Whatever. It's probably the shutter. Frame rate, shutter speed. I don't know, man. I'm just having so many technology problems recently. I just stopped caring, you know. Just can't deal with this shit. Now there's like a fucking white line. Could be, yeah. Alright, sorry guys, I'm just like in a mood sometimes, so. Fuck. Alright, I got it. What happened to my... I keep reusing this angle of a smear, kind of a low angle. I just kind of... And I keep using this fucking arch doorway too. I don't know why, but I'm just gonna keep using it. Oh. Okay. So what have you guys been up to? What have you been doing summer? Explosion. Made out with my hot cousin this summer. Hey, that's good, man. Poop. Good for you. Moved states, all but fled. Trying to build muscle. Hey, man, that good's for you, dude. Studio Don thank you. Trying to build muscle, man. That's what I've been trying to do, man. I've been going to the gym for like 5 days a week for like 2 years almost. Maybe not 5 days a week, probably like 4, sometimes 5. More recently, I've been going 5 days a week though. But I think you go any more than that, you end up just kind of burning yourself out with fatigue. I just go there with my music, and it's quite relaxing. But I might as well tell you guys this little fucking weird ass gym story that's been happening to me the past 2 years. No, I should just keep it to myself. Got a new job, mailman on bike in a heat wave. Oh shit, Amanda. Well, here you get lots of water and stuff. The heat wave is fucking... It's not that bad yet. I mean, I had worse. I feel like last summer or previous summers, we've had it worse. Well, maybe just in Montreal at least. Or maybe I'm just getting used to them at this point. Like, I know they're coming every year. I never used to get heat waves in Nova Scotia, but, like, to this degree. You know what I mean? Tell Jim story, please. Alright, well, I'll tell you guys this gym story. So you know how, like, people look at each other in the gym, right? Like, kind of, like, checking people out? But, like, they just do it because, you know, where do you put... Just fucking mirrors everywhere, right? Well, like, for some reason, there's a particular woman has been, like, giving me looks, right? For the past 2 years. And she doesn't work out alone, though. She works out with her husband. And her husband has noticed this because she's, like, not subtle about it, basically, right? And the husband is noticed, and then he started giving me death stares. Like he's mad at me for just existing in the gym. And so I thought this would go away, you know, over time, right? But it's still happening. It's been 2 years. And so Carolina went to the gym with me last Saturday, whatever. And those people were there. And then Carolina was talking to me, right? And then Carolina goes upstairs. And then the woman starts giving her death stares. So now there's this couple that's giving us both death stares for different reasons. And it's really fucking... I mean, I find it kind of funny because, like, they can't do anything about it. Like, what are you gonna do? But anyway, this has been going on for 2 years, and I don't know when it's gonna stop, if it ever will stop. There is another story. Well, I guess it's not really a story, but there's someone who's oh. Second, let me just figure out what I'm doing here. No, please seek help. Oddly Murray, thank you for that. So, Jonathan Weimer, thank you, man. It's you know, it's a small little painting, but I really like how the textures, like the colors came through in this one. It's just, they're very they just kind of feel very subtle, but it almost doesn't feel like an acrylic painting. It feels more like it looks more like a pastel or a chalk painting or something because of the way the brush strokes are and stuff. So I'm trying to replicate that kind of look on a 4x4 canvas, and it's not that easy actually, because you're using these much larger brushes, and you have to use, like, when I paint colors, rather than mixing different rather than mixing different like gradients, like colors of you know, from blue to green or whatever, I just like painting, like just kind of glazing the brush just against the panel, just so that it kind of picks up color. But it basically makes like a dissolve effect, or what do you call it? Kind of like how I'm doing my animations, actually, where it's still the same solid color, but it's just like less of it. Kind of more like a spray brush, how it works, you know? I can show you like the 4K image. Zoom in on it, so I can tell you what I'm talking about. Paintings. Yeah, so this is the painting I'm talking about. I really want to get back into like painting more often, you know. I just, like I've been saying, I've been tired of using the computer, and you know, I just have to do it. Obviously, I want to finish my web series, but just the physical painting is just more enjoyable, you know. But like anyway, look at all the colors here. I just fucking love how that turned out. I don't know if I've like somehow it just kind of came together nicely there, and it's kind of like a small painting. Like it's only 10 by 10 inches, but if you look at it really close, you can see all these little details. The colors just I don't know why I like to mix the colors like this. I think it's I like having vibrant colors that are like clashing, but they're not mixed, right? So that, you know, when you step away, that your eyes kind of mix the colors together, kind of like Impressionism or Pointillism a little bit, the way the technique works. And I've been using a lot of very vibrant, like highlighter colors. And so, and then in this case, I spray painted it. I didn't spray paint. I varnished it with a matte spray. Usually I use gloss. But this one I wanted it to be matte, just because I felt like sometimes it's hard to see all these little things when it's like shiny. And it looks nice matte, actually. I like the way it looks. I might start making my paintings matte. We'll see. It depends on the ones. But anyways, yeah, so this one's on auction, so I'm selling it. Was I wet blending? So basically, I mix my color on the palette, and then I add a little bit of water. Like, but I usually wait until the canvas is dry. I don't mix colors together. And the reason why I don't do that with acrylics is because I find that it makes it look muddy. They kind of end up looking like mud. And so I always wait until my painting, this section of the painting is dry, and then I'll paint on top of it. And that's partially why I use acrylics instead of oils, because oils take forever to dry. And I still like to work that way with oils, you know. Oils are a little bit more difficult. You have to mix your colors pretty much and lay them down. And I mean, you can use like mediums that dry, make your oil paints dry faster. I've switched to, Jonathan says, I switched to writing scripts on legal pads instead of computer, do the very thing. You can really feel it. You know what? Maybe I should try doing that too. Well, I have a laptop, but like, I don't know if it would work for me, but I totally understand where you're coming from, where your brain just completely changes, you know. Also, you don't have any distractions. And you can just bring a piece of paper or a notepad with you anywhere really quickly, you know, with a pencil. Do you thin your paints at all? I just use water to thin them out. I don't use any mediums or anything like that because I don't want my paintings to get thick and chunky, you know? And so if you use like a medium, you're basically adding, it's like basically filler, right? So you're just adding like a, you know, that's fine if you like a lot of texture to your paintings, but I purposely try not to add too much texture because the way I work is I eventually change so many things that the layers just build up on their own. So if I start by adding medium and then I keep making those changes and sit later, it's gonna just get really chunky monkey, you know what I mean? So I basically don't add any mediums, although I do experiment with some crackle paste, you know, which I think is fun to experiment with once in a while, try some of that stuff. But my pretentious opinion about painting is that if you start adding too much of that like specialty mediums to your work, like crackle paste, or like, you know, even like metallic paints and stuff, it ends up kind of looking a little crafty, like Michael's art store crafty, you know what I mean? And I kind of want to avoid that. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm not saying you don't have to, like, that's just my personal subjective, like, kind of own issues I have with painting. It's nothing to do with it. Like, I'm sure there's like paintings in like the MoMA that use crackle paste or something like that. It's just, you know, I don't know. I just don't like the way it kind of like, I don't know what it makes it kind of look like a craft from my opinion. If you do use it sparingly. Would you ever consider painting with blood? Probably not. Just because I'll tell you why. Like, basically, if you go to art school, not every single, but like a lot of people will just be like, I use my own blood in this painting, and it just kind of comes across as like a little bit corny. You know what I mean? That's that's another pretentious opinion I have about painting stuff. I don't want to have blood in my artwork. I mean, I could. Some people do stuff like that just for fun. I think there's someone released like a vinyl record recently that had like, they mixed their blood into the red like print ink, and then they like printed out the I don't know what it was. Either the records were pressed or the case was like had blood in it or something. Have you said that there are some scenes in Interface that you are cringe? What exactly are those moments? Well, they don't really make me cringe. They just make me wish I had chosen to do something a little bit less done before, or so that would be like the whole the scene where the Cammy's looking at her mask and it's something about the abyss gazing into you and that sort of thing. Like, that's kind of a, at this point it just seems a little cliche. Like, I seem like that it happens, I hear that a lot in media and stuff, so I'm like, I should have just came up with something original instead of quoting Nietzsche or whatever. And there's maybe a few moments where I feel like it might have been better to just come up with some schizo quote on my own. But that's how it's what it is. You know, and I don't know why in that moment I chose to use. Well, actually, I do know why, and it's because the whole idea behind Interface was that the ideas and the artwork and the stuff that I'm talking about in the series are not only my original ideas, but they're also a combination of things that previously exist. because that's the whole point of it. Like it's like when you train data for like one of these AI supercluster things. They're taking all the information from the internet that already exists, all the books, they're scanning them, right? And so as a film that's about AI absorbing all the information and reusing it for its own purposes, it makes sense that I am repurposing old paintings, which I've done several times in that film, or quote certain people that have, you know, said things certain ways about certain things. So it's almost like, also there's the whole idea that, like, as an artist, nothing that you make is really truly original. It's all based off of whatever your experiences are, what things you've seen before, you know. And like, so you can't really escape that as a creator. And so in some ways I was kind of like leaning into it a little bit, but at the same time I feel that just like some of these things might have been a little bit better. They're a little bit on the nose, and maybe it would have been better if I had just not done that at all and made it a little bit more mysterious and maybe just stuck to the paintings, reincorporating the paintings in the film rather than quotes and stuff, you know. Jonathan Weimer, that's very interesting. Where can I find information about this book? You can just post it in the chat, maybe, and I'll look it up later, you know. You know, I feel like sometimes I don't want to have to explain scenes or make things very explicit in the film, or, you know, have characters kind of like reiterate things that are already shown in the series. But I do know that if I don't do that sometimes, I'm going to lose like 80% of the audience, because they're going to be like completely lost. And some people just need to know, like, just have an idea of some sort of structure and what, you know, have their suspicions confirmed by something so that they can move on to the rest part of the story. The crazy thing is if I made interface and it was just 100% like, well, it already is confusing, but, you know, I know there's some people out there that just completely get it, you know, and but not everyone gets it. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are confused, and I think partially that's why it's kind of like it's not super popular. It's popular, but it's like popular among like a niche online crowd that's even niche for online in terms of online, because, you know what, like, you know, now there's web series out there that get like 60 million views and stuff, so it's yeah. My boyfriend introduced me to your animations and music a year or two ago. Watching interface in one go, silently together, in a mostly dark room, is one of my most precious memories. Oh, hey, thanks, Amanda. I really do appreciate that comment. That's I get, you know, I really do appreciate when people say stuff like that, because it makes me realize that sometimes I feel frustrated with my own artwork and question what I'm exactly trying to do. But some people are it has affects them in a strong way, and that just means that I did something right. So I got this like kind of, maybe I'm gonna undo. I got this kind of like rake brush that I like to use. Kyle's rakes. I used to just use a circle brush, but I've been experimenting more with just using like kind of like rakes and stuff. It just kind of just like gives the wall like a hidden texture. You know what I mean? Kind of looks like it was like made out of sandstone or something. And then I'll go on top of it with my pencil. Just kind of fill it in, but like even though you won't really see it, like you still kind of see the texture a little bit. Gotta change my brush a little bit too. Pencil brush. And I could just, you know, use a paintbrush, the fill tool here, and just go like, no. But I don't want a solid color. I want it to have that kind of like hand-drawn look, where you filled it in with a pencil. And you may not even see this stuff afterwards. I might go over it later with a different color, like white. It's that layer here. Maybe I'll put it on top and I'll make it white. But we'll do that later. I finally watched A Scanner Darkly, and the whole thing could have been an Umami production. You know, I tried to watch A Scanner Darkly twice, and I couldn't get through it. It's very interesting film and animated in a strange way, but I don't know what it was. I always lose interest around like the halfway point. Zombie, I played interface on side of my building on my projector. It made everyone uncomfortable. It's pretty funny, man. I get super high and watch interface and it makes sense, but then I'm confused by it when I'm sober. Well, there are certain things that when you're high, they do make sense in your head, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? I'm like, that didn't make any sense at all. And it doesn't necessarily, like, sometimes your brain convinces you of certain things, and it's almost like your intuition takes over from your just objective reasoning abilities. And a lot of times you can see some connections that where you can't see with your just objectively looking at something, you know, like a rationally thinking mind. One thing we love to ponder about is the returning use of the sunflower. I kind of don't even want to ask about it because we love the mystery. Why a sunflower? Well, I could answer that. I know the answer, but I don't want to ruin it for you, so... These are things I keep in my head. And maybe one day someone will figure it out. I'll write a review about it. But here's the thing, you know, even though I have a reason for why I use certain things, doesn't necessarily mean that other people interpret it the same way that for the reason why I put it in there. And so if I were to just kind of give it my explanation for why I do it, it kind of diminishes their own interpretations. It's not because of the Fibonacci sequence, I can tell you that though. This episode is going to have some amazing hand-drawn animations when it eventually comes out. I pretty much stopped doing 3D stuff, guys. I just, I hated using the software. And it was expensive too, you know? Every year I'd have to pay like $1,500. And then like I wouldn't use it for the full year. I'd only use it for a couple months at a time, right? And so I feel like I can complete the series without doing any more 3D, and I don't want to do 3D anyway because I don't know what it was like 2 years ago, or I was like a different person completely. I was like getting in over my head when it came to my workload, and I would spend all day animating like a shot, like a background of a shot, and it was just, there'd be problems with it, and I'd spend the next 3 days troubleshooting the problems, and then, you know, it'd all be like shader issues and stuff like that. Eventually it would be finished and it would look kind of like crazy and cool, right? Like the interior, the bar from episode 6. But like, it's just not, it wasn't worth it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to tell stories and match, you know, emotions and music and stuff, and people love the 3D backgrounds, but like, that's not what makes my animations unique. And they were just taking way too much resources and time. And so I wouldn't really do it again unless I had, you know, a huge budget and someone wanted to do it full time as like a job to just do 3D backgrounds and stuff, but not anymore. So now I just draw everything, and I kind of like the way it looks, just static. Everything just looks nice. You know, when you start animating, you want to try all these new things, and you're always trying to one-up yourself every episode, but then at a certain point you need to just kind of realize what's working and how to continue working in the most efficient way without without wasting your time, basically, you know. Time wasting is something I struggle with a lot, and ironically, because, you know, I put out a ton of music, I put out a lot of animation and stuff over the years, and it looks, from, you know, from one perspective, it might look like I'm not wasting time, but I still waste too much time, you know, just if I'm on my phone or whatever, or so, you know, I realized when I use a computer, at a certain point I stop working, and it's not like, no matter what I do, I'm not going to continue working. Like, it's my mental capacity to work is finished. And then, so what I do, rather than getting up and doing something else, like a chore or going to the gym to exercise, I would just sit on the computer and continue to browse the internet, because in my head it was like, I'm still working because I'm still at my computer. You know what I mean? I've kind of gotten over that, though. It took me a long time. And so now when I'm done my work, I just get up and leave, and I go to the gym, or if I just go to the coffee shop down the street, you know, and just kind of sit there outside for a bit. At least I'm doing something that's not making me like depressed or whatever, which is honestly, you know, wasting time browsing social media is depressing. It will make you depressed. Just going out and talking to random people, you know, on the streets and stuff or whatever, it's a lot more healthier, I feel like. And so that's what I do now. Jay, $1,500. Yeah, so like the 3D cinema, what do we call it? Cinema 4D was like $1,000, and then Autodesk Arnold, which was the renderer I bought that paid to go with it, was like $300 a year, something like that. And then you play plus taxes, right? And you know, I think that might even be in US dollars, but I could be wrong. I can't remember. So yeah, it would add up quickly. Uma Inca, hello. What's the best conversation starter for talking to strangers on the street? Well, I don't just talk to everyone randomly on the street. I only talk to someone if I feel like I have something interesting to say, you know? Or if, you know, I go to this coffee shop and I see regulars there, and if I see them like 10 times and I'm sitting right next to them, I'll just say something like hello, just to acknowledge their presence, that like we're in the same place forever, right? Because I just can't just like ignore this someone that I've been seeing sit next to me for like, you know, weeks on end, right? So eventually I just say hello to them. And you know, the crazy thing is, like, a lot of them are just super happy to talk to someone, because I don't think people really strike up conversation that much anymore. It's pretty rare, especially in someone my age, you know? I see a lot of older people doing it, but it's not, and they're always happy to say something, you know? There's one guy I was talking to, he's like, I was smoking a cigar, actually, and he was also smoking a cigar. And I was like, so, what kind of cigar are you smoking and stuff? And then he was telling me about how he used to be 350 pounds. And then one day his son came back from Cuba and gave him a box of cigars. And then he got addicted to the cigars. And so now he smokes cigars like every day, which that's kind of fucked up, right? Because it's not good to be smoking that much. However, he lost like all the 300, like he basically lost 250 pounds because the nicotine curbed his appetite so much. He just didn't have a desire to eat. And so now he's like skinny now. And he was like, I don't know how old he is. Maybe he looks like he's like 75 or something like that. So the cigars might have actually saved him, because you can't be 300 pounds and 75. You know what I mean? Like it's you're not gonna last very long. So they give you a look. Autodesk seems hard to me. Blender, in my opinion, Blender was more difficult, but maybe just I don't know. I just can't get into it. Unfortunately, you know, if you do want to just talk to random people on the street, you kind of do have to look presentable. Otherwise, they'll just assume you're like a nut job, which is, you know, 90% of the time when someone stops you on the street, it's because they're either crazy or looking for money, or that's basically the only reasons. And so people have their defenses up if you're just talking to people, you know. But like I said, like if it's like a regular person, like a regular at a place that you go to, then there's not that issue. Christian Bale smoked cigs to get super skinny for that one role. Yeah, and I get it, man, because I don't smoke cigars that often, but maybe like once every 3 weeks, and when I do, I don't really feel hungry afterwards. So that's not a good thing. I mean, for like me who's trying to like go to the gym and get as jacked as humanly possible, you have to eat a lot. You just have to mentally be aware of it. Like you have to like yeah, I'm not hungry, but actually you are hungry. Just your body, your mental, your brain's telling you for some reason that you're not. It's kind of like the opposite of smoking weed. Like when you smoke weed and you're just constantly hungry, you're not actually hungry. That's just the weed making you feel hungry. You just have to be aware of it. I think once you're aware of that and you don't just act on how you feel in the moment, you'll be fine. You can overcome those issues. Because it's not like you're physically full. Like you can't put any more food in your stomach. Like you just filled yourself with mashed potatoes. It's just it's just a mental thing. Your brain just being like you're not signaling that you need to eat. Someone tried to steal my sandwich this month. Thank you, Narek. Narek? Thank you. I think I could take my hat off now. I believe it. The sun's still kind of... Smoke too much weed and it often flips, starts curbing your appetite. I don't really smoke too much weed anymore. It was messing with my serotonin levels. Like the next day I would just be like angry and stuff, or short-tempered, or sad or something, you know. If I do smoke weed, it's usually like half a joint or something, you know. Just enough to kind of just relax my muscles, but not like go into a crazy thought mode or... So it takes a long time, like filling in the floorboards like this, but it gives it a nice, makes it like look nice. Like you can see the edges of the board and stuff. Sour ink stopped boozing also. Yeah, man. Me too, actually. I mean, I still do drink beer once in a while, but now it's only if I go to a restaurant or something, you know? I don't drink at home. It's expensive too, man. It's like fucking like $25 for like a case of beer here. I don't know what it's like in the States, but food prices in Canada are fucked up, so I think it's okay to have a couple addictions, just as long as you're not like overdoing it, you know what I mean? They're in moderation. I mean, everyone can't be 100% straight edge clean. It's just hard to be like that. Yeah, 4-pack of cheap beer for $3. That's fucking crazy. Like, also, depending on the kind of beer it is, I think I'm like allergic to like half of it. I think the ones that have like wheat in them, they make me all like inflamed. I think I don't know if I have a wheat intolerance or something, but it's certain beers like make me sick. I've been taking like magic mushrooms, like microdose amounts, or just a little bit more than a microdose, and it helps with like muscle inflammation a lot. Like I don't know why, I don't know what's wrong with my body, but basically, if you're constantly being like your back is just constantly tight and you just don't know, like muscle inflammation, it makes it hard to do pretty much anything all day, like be creative or just be happy, you know, because you get this like muscle tension that's like inflamed in your back, and it affects you in ways you don't even realize. So I've taken this stuff and I just can't fucking believe that it's illegal still, like compared to like weed, you know, which I feel like weed just makes you dopey as hell sometimes, and sometimes you do get some nice introspective moments from taking weed. But like mushrooms are just like way better for you, like in terms of your mental health and stuff. In my opinion, it's like almost the opposite effect, where if you take a microdose amount, you're just kind of like more alert, you're like sharper, you have more energy, your body relaxes, like you have just, you know, and then the effects last for like 12 hours or maybe even 24 hours, depending on. Just don't take too much, all right? Psilocybin has like, I think it would even affect like people with like cluster headaches and stuff. I think there's a lot of of course they're doing the research on this now, like there's a lot of companies out there that are going to there's a lot of companies coming up with medications now that are going to completely change the fucking world in the next like decade or two. And I don't know if psilocybin is one of them, but it is one of them. There is another company called React. What, I don't forget what it's called. There's a company out there that's basically making a drug. So when you exercise and stuff, there's a particular chemical in your body that tells your muscles to stop growing, and so basically they're working on some drug that basically mitigates that, so that when that chemical doesn't happen really, or to as strong degree as it was before. And so you're gonna get like super huge without taking steroids. It's not a steroid, and it's not testosterone. And supposedly, because of that, there's no like negative side effects. Now, people are gonna abuse the shit out of that stuff once it becomes public, right? And you're gonna see those meatheads in the gym that are just gonna get like massive. But I'm saying from a perspective of a 90-year-old person who basically has zero muscles, if they take this drug, suddenly they are able to, you know, without having to, you know, go to the gym every day, and they can move around more easily, you know, and it's kind of like the Ozempic, you know, it's kind of like how Ozempic has made it a lot easier for people to lose weight, you know, with practically no side effects. from what I understand is Ozempic has the side effects are yet to be seen. Like, we don't know if there's going to be like long-term side effects in 40 years or whatever. But right now, basically, it seems like the side effects are very minimal, and the benefits outweigh the side effects by a huge degree. If anything, people are losing fat too quickly, and then their skin is just super loose and stretchy because it's like it's an unnatural way to lose fat that quickly. If you were to like do it naturally by eating less and going to the gym, your skin would still be stretchy, but it wouldn't be as stretchy and loose as what people who take Ozempic. They get like an Ozempic face. Have you ever looked that up on the internet? It's like basically you just look like 10 years older because your skin is so loose. What is this medicine called? I forget what it's called, but there's that YouTube channel called Renaissance Periodization on YouTube, and it's like one of his like last 10 videos. He made one about the drug that something to do with muscle growth, and I'm sure I looked it up like 2 days ago. Let me just see what happened. If I can find it. Yeah, the video is called "The End of Steroids, New Muscle Drugs," and this thumbnail looks like kind of like clickbait, but this guy actually knows what he's talking about for the most part. So I think he's a doctor, and he's not like he's not one of those fucking jacked up influencer types that just lie to you about shit. So I think you should watch this video if you are interested in finding out more about that drug. I don't forget the name of it though. So I don't know, man. I don't know if we're gonna get like lawsuits about like Ozempic and stuff. Maybe we might find out that in like 40 years that Ozempic caused like degenerative like bone disease or something like that the whole time. Who knows? We don't know. Right now though, it seems like there's not much problem with it. And maybe it's just gonna be one of those things. It's like you could either be 400 pounds or you lost all your weight, but now your bones are fucked up or something. I don't know. From what I understand, it's not that bad. So trust me, I know his thumbnails do look like clickbait. The videos themselves are not. It's just that's the problem with fucking YouTube, man. Is this everyone has to like make shit that looks like clickbait. Even myself, like. I try not to do it too bad, but like I still have to like fucking come up with titles that are like basically clickbait, like my and sometimes it doesn't work, so I'm just like I don't know if I made the right choice to call it this or that, but like music to crash out to, I mean I guess I don't do it that often. Music to stop doom scrolling to, but like. This one here, though, I don't know. I wonder if it's like because it's a question. Maybe it like got more views or something. I don't know. I should do more question titles. Yeah. The worst thing is now that the thing is like YouTube fucking endorses that clickbait shit. You would think after the years they would be like, you would think that people would be like fed up with it and they'd be like, can we figure out a solution so we don't have these shitty titles and shitty thumbnails and stuff? But no, YouTube fully leans into it and wants you to make this shit. I know this from watching their stupid fucking creator videos and them endorsing, what's his name? Mr. Beast and all that shit he makes. And he just came out with a video last week called where it's basically an AI generating. He's got this software now where it like makes thumbnails for you, and they look like shit. And they swap them out every 5 seconds so that they can, you know, maximize like click-through ratio and all that stuff. I gotta like blow my nose. Oh fuck, I'm having allergies like crazy. Just give me like 5 seconds. Oh, so yeah, so that kind of looks nice, but it's a little bit too strong, so I'm going to take the rake tool again. And set this to clear. Yeah. It'd be funny if you made a video that looked like clickbait. Yeah, I should do a video that looked like clickbait. And the video is just basically some guy sitting in a room being like, why did you click on this? The fuck is wrong with you? I would take a Umami sponsored drug. You know, the crazy thing is, I think I could like start selling drugs on my merch store, because one of my suppliers, like, they sell like fucking creatine with like my labels and shit on it, and I don't want to start selling creatine because I know it's like the new like fucking magic muscle drug that's like has no side effects. But there actually is some side effects related to hair loss, and I know there's people saying that it's a myth that creatine causes hair loss, but there's a ton of anecdotal evidence about people saying, I started taking creatine and my hair started falling out. And I don't want to be giving people hair loss, so... Sell some shroom microdose. It's highly illegal to sell shrooms. Unless you live in Canada, apparently they can just, you know, they just send them in the mail. Or you live in Vancouver, they don't give a shit over there. I think creatine is mostly. But I'm still curious about. I don't think there's been an actual proper study about hair loss. And it's not like a permanent thing, though. If you stop taking the creatine, apparently your hair comes back or something. I just don't know. Now, so Samir is very dark in this shot, and it's almost hard to see him. But it's a good thing that he has that oil look where he's moving constantly. But maybe I feel like this is what is difficult to animate in black and white, just pure black and white, because it's like how like things get like the composition becomes a lot more difficult. You know, if it was color, it'd be easy. I could just change the. If it was color, I could just do this. You can see him. Just trying to figure out what I could do. Actually, I know what I'll probably put like a gradient or something. Just I don't know actually. I put an outer glow on it. Looks kind of corny. It does appear easily. I know what I'll do. I'll make more lines around. Know what you're thinking. Umami, stop. You're overdoing it. I'm getting a layer down and then I'm gonna fucking figure it out. The burnt fox. Of course you can ask a question, yes. So all I have to do is get the rest of this animated because I want to have them closer to the door. Probably send this to Allie. If you could go back and pick a different line of work, what would you do? And you aren't allowed to say you'd stick to what you're doing now. I'd probably get into like investment banking. If I was not, if I was better at math. I mean, I could have studied and gotten good at it if I cared to do that, but I find in like researching companies and kind of like predicting things and trying to understand trends. Like I do that as an artist because I'm always trying to do like the next thing, or your work has to be relevant about something that hasn't happened yet, or if you want to be relevant by the time you release your animation, it has to be, you have to kind of like predict the future a little bit. So I do find, like I do some stock trading on my own, which I'm not super successful at it, but like I just find the whole process to be kind of fun and interesting. Maybe if it was like a job, I wouldn't enjoy it that much, but I think that's probably what I would do as a different career, you know. Ah. If I had the choice. Male gigolo, yeah. You ever guys watch the movie Midnight Cowboy? That's a weird movie, man. So I got this shot now. Man, this fucking track just like worked. I don't know what it's like. Sometimes you just make some music and it. The crazy thing, that's me on the drums. Like real drums. And I don't even know how to play the drums that well. But like, you know, if you record things one piece at a time, you can layer them pretty easily and it sounds like you actually know what you're doing. I would probably have more of my own live drum recordings if I didn't have to go to a studio down the street, pay for it. In episode 7, there was a heart in the center of the sun and moon. Oh, right, yeah. What was your inspiration behind drawing it? So I don't know if you guys realize this, but the dream sequences that are happening in episode 7 are like real. It's like a real place. Let me just try to find some photos. So in in interface, you see some of these scenes, and in safe mode, you are starting to see these scenes because they're parts of Mischief when he was a long time ago, like parts of his psyche and stuff. So we're kind of like in this space where everyone's memories are kind of being fractured and mixed together and created, and so he's in dreamland, kind of, which is kind of like the sub-basement level of the memory of like the interface. So there's these scenes here. These are photos from dreamland, the place that actually burned down. And the reason why there's a heart in that shape is because that particular building also existed, and they had hearts on the side of the building. I just can't seem to find the fucking website right now. Let's see. Oh, here it is. My bookmarks. Wonder if I can show you the picture of the... All the scenes that you see are based off of real things. Like, I don't just like make stuff up. Like, I don't like... The thing is about being a surrealist artist is I feel like is if you ground your animations in some form of realism, your surrealism actually comes across a lot stronger. So I don't know what website it was that I saw. Okay, you can barely see it here. Hold on. But see this building right here? There's another photo that I found on a different website, which I can't find. But basically, that's the building he enters to get into the roller coaster, which is right here. And I think that in real life, I think that was the entrance to the roller coaster. And so that makes sense because the roller coaster is right here. But this building has hearts on it. You can't see it in this blurry photo, but it had hearts on it. That's why. Hearts. What inspired you to make Alfonso? Caroline and I were on vacation in Mont Tremblant, and we were hiking, and for some reason I saw this like cabin out in the middle of the forest, like that really far away. And so I was like, what if there was like a little man stuck inside that chimney? And he's like, help, I can't get out. Like, no one knows about him existing in there, but he's just stuck in there. You know what's kind of fucked up? There's people that do get stuck in chimneys. I don't know if you watch these videos on YouTube, but there's at least 2 people who got stuck in chimneys. There was like a little kid, and then there was this woman who was trying to break into her ex's house or something like that, and she got stuck in the fucking chimney and died because he wasn't there. So it's not funny when it happens in real life, but, you know, it's like my fucked up head. A cartoon character being stuck in a chimney is it was just funny. And so that shot, the very first scene of Chimney Alfonso, like when you're zooming in, like that's basically what I saw. It was like a cabin really far away from the top of a mountain, and all these trees around it. There was way more trees, but basically that's what it looked like. And I was like, what if we just like zoomed in like really slowly, like one of those westerns, you know, those like western movies where they do a really slow zoom, and then but then like you get to it just keeps going, and then eventually you get to the chimney and there's just like a man inside of it. I don't know, for some reason that was hilarious to me, and that's the inspiration behind Chimney Alfonso. So that's it. All right, guys, I'm done for today. I can't fucking breathe. My nose is like fucking filling up with snot shit. I can't blow my nose, and I can't even. This shirt I'm wearing, like I want to do this with no shirt on because it's like 400 degrees out, but I can't do that when I live stream. It's ridiculous. You see my nipples. This is what I did today. Basically, just the background for the shot. I'm gonna have the character extended so you can the stuff you can see will be animated too. That's it. All right, everyone. Talk to you next time. And if you're interested in my painting, it is on auction, and it is available. I will be shipping it probably as soon as this ends, basically. All right, everyone. Take care. Good night, and for hanging out. Bye-bye.